Hi all my fellow pole dancing friends, and welcome to today's off the pole invert conditioning workout. So today we're going to be focusing on activating and strengthening particular muscles in your upper back and shoulders and in your core that we need to invert effortlessly and injury-free. Today you're going to be needing a long resistance band. You're also going to be needing a mini resistance band, so just a very light resistance booty band. Again, emphasis on the light resistance, and also a yoga block. Now, if you don't have a yoga block and a light resistance band, don't stress, you can do the exercises without those. However, we will be needing our long resistance band. Let's get into it.
We're going to do a little shoulder activation sequence first. So keep your mini resistance band and your yoga block nearby if you have access to those. So we're going to start sitting against the wall first, and you're going to bring your arms all the way up above head. From there, I want you to think about pulling your shoulders down away from your ears, elbows into the side, and then returning all the way back up to the top. Again, squeezing in and releasing those arms all the way back out above head. Now, it's really important that we pull those shoulders down away from those ears and that we keep everything as flat to the wall as possible. Make sure that you are not arching away from the wall with your lower back. We have to keep that lower back and spine pressing flat to the wall, and we do that with activating our core by tucking the tummy in. Again, big reach out above head. Make sure that you reach full range of motion, so don't stop here. Shoot those arms up nice and straight, and then squeeze it all the way in. So we should be focusing on feeling this one through those lower traps. So keep going for me, but again, just focusing here. So just in between those shoulder blades. Aiming for approximately around about 20. But again, shoot those arms up as straight as possible. Elbows squeeze in and release back out. Now, some of you may struggle more above head and some of you may struggle more down here. As you can see, my hands are struggling to get to the wall today. Just shows us where some of our tightnesses and weaknesses may lie. But hopefully the more often you do this exercise, the easier it should get. Just a few more of these ones for me, making sure that we're yanking those shoulders down away from those ears, and then returning full range of motion, arms nice and straight. Just two more in. And last one. Next thing we're going to do is just grab a hold of our yoga block and resistance band. So you're going to place your mini band. Again, make sure this is a really light resistance. It's quite tough just with a super light resistance. Even just body weight, this is quite tough. So if you don't have your band, don't worry, you can still repeat the same movement. The purpose of the yoga block is to squeeze between your elbows. And that just stops us from letting our elbows wing out too wide. So if you don't have your yoga block, make sure that you're constantly pulling your elbows in together. Don't let them wing out, it doesn't work. So I'm gonna squeeze the yoga block between my elbows, and I'm gonna think about my wrists pulling out wide into the band. From there, keeping my shoulders down the entire time, I'm gonna proceed to tap above head and lower back down. Now those wrists have to stay out wide and shoulders have to stay down, and elbows have to stay pulling in. So this one should be in a similar spot to that previous exercise. Again, keeping those shoulders down, elbows squeezing in, wrists pulling out nice and wide. Now make sure it's not just your fingers pulling out wide, it's not really doing anything. Think about your wrists pulling out wide. Keeping those shoulders down, make sure we're maintaining our flat spine to the wall. Again, just making sure we're not arching away. Just a few more of these ones in. We're nearly there. Exhale as you come up. We'll go for like 3 more. Big exhale up and inhale down. All right, we're gonna do each of these two one more time. So just popping your block and band to the side, we're gonna reach those arms all the way back out above head. We're gonna yank those shoulders down, pull those elbows in, and release back out above head. Now remember, we don't want to be arching that lower back away from the wall. Keep pressing in. I shouldn't be able to fit my fingers between your back and the wall. Make sure you finish full range of motion, so arms completely straight above head and as flat to the wall here as we can. Elbows all the way into your side, not to here, all the way in. Surprisingly, quite a lot to think about throughout this exercise, but again, lower traps here is the goal. You might feel a few funny spots the first few times, a few funky things in the backs of your shoulders, but the more we practice with correct technique, the easier this one should get. All right, we're about halfway through this one now. So I've myself done about 10. Again, I like to aim for 20. Big exhale as we pull down, making sure those shoulders yank down with us. And I usually like to do a big exhale as I pull down. Nearly there. Make sure you got that flat spine. We're not flaring through the ribs. Shoulders are pulling down and we're reaching that full range of motion. Hopefully you're starting to feel through the backs of those shoulders now. All right, let's do one more. Last exercise for our little shoulder activation. We're going to place the mini band back around those wrists. We're going to squeeze the block back between those elbows. And again, if you don't have the block, just make sure your elbows are staying narrow. Don't let them wing out wide. The only purpose of the block is to prevent your elbows from winging out wide. And again, really light resistance band. It's quite tough to do even just body weight. So you're gonna pull those wrists out into the band, keep those shoulders pulling down as we raise up above head, tap, and lower back down. Make sure your core is switched on as well. So really tucking that tummy muscle in. And wrist pulling out nice and wide, elbows squeezing in. And remember, it's not your fingers flinging out, not this. It's your wrist pulling out wide. You might find this one quite hard the first few times, but the more you practice, the easier it gets. Hopefully you can feel all those back muscles waking up. You might notice one hand's a little bit easier than the other as well. Pay attention to that. Three more for me. Exhale as we tap up. And last one. So we should have done approximately about 12 of these ones. Well done. Next, we're just gonna do a quick little core warm up. If you do have a yoga block, keep it handy. If not, a rolled up towel will work just as well.
We're gonna begin first lying on our back. And we're just gonna make sure that we press our spine flat to the floor. To do this, really think about tucking your belly button in, and this will get your core activated. Now lift your right leg up to 90 degrees, keeping your spine flat to the floor, and then follow with your left. Make sure that there is no arching between your lower back and the floor. Place your hands on the front of your thighs and create a bit of resistance, and you should start to feel the tension in your core. So again, pressing your hands into your thighs to create some resistance should help you begin to feel that tummy muscle start to engage. Remembering to really focus on pulling or tucking that tummy muscle in towards your. Keeping tension between your left hand and your left leg, we're going to proceed to kick our right leg out. Big exhale to bring it back in. Again, we're going to kick and then exhale to bring that leg back in. Just make sure that throughout this movement that you are not allowing any arching through your lower back. Remember to press your spine as flat to the floor as you can by keeping your tummy muscle nice and tucked in. Now, if you are struggling to keep your back flat, you can do this one with your left leg down on the floor, and that will make things a little bit easier. Even if you're feeling any lower back pain or any hip popping, just pop that left leg down on the floor. Otherwise, if you're feeling good, you can keep that left leg up at 90 degrees and continue on with this movement. So on this next rep, we're just gonna hold. So hold that right leg out nice and straight, creating a bit of tension down your thigh, tucking that tummy in to make sure core is activated and keeping that spine as flat to the floor as possible. Then just making sure that your shoulders are also nice and relaxed down away from your ears. Now remember, if you are struggling to keep that spine flat to the floor, you can do this one with your left leg down to help. All right, big exhale, let's bring that leg back in and do the other side. We're gonna inhale as we extend our leg, exhale as we bring that leg back in. Now just remember to keep your spine flat to the floor by engaging your core. So we're gonna tuck that tummy in. Think about keeping your shoulders nice and relaxed. And again, it's an inhale as we extend, exhale as we bring that leg back in. If you are getting any hip popping or any pain through your lower back, just simply pop that right leg down on the floor. It will make things that little bit easier. But if you're feeling good, keeping that right leg up at 90 degrees. And again, we're going to inhale to kick, exhale to bring that leg back in. All right, let's go for a hold on this next one. So holding out, we're going to create tension down that left leg. So we're going to squeeze it as straight as we can. Think about really pressing that lower back flat to the floor and making sure that we're tucking our tummy muscle in and keeping that core active. All right, big exhale, let's bring that leg back into the center. I want you to grab your yoga block and place it between your knees. If you don't have a yoga block, a large rolled up towel will work just fine. Now remember, we need to keep that spine flat to the floor and core engaged the entire time by keeping your tummy muscles tucked in. We're going to take our arms up above head and we're going to proceed to draw some angel wings, just like we did against the wall. So you're going to squeeze your elbows into the side of your body and then we're going to extend them out, up, all the way above head. Now as you pull down, we're thinking about really pulling those shoulders down away from your ears, and we're trying to keep our wrists and our elbows nice and flat to the floor, as well as our back as well. Remember, no arching through that lower back. All right, just our last big reach out above head and squeezing into the side. Let's pop the yoga block to the side and come back just to that previous core exercise one last time so we can make sure that our core is nice and activated. So remember, I want you to keep your spine nice and flat to the floor and keeping that tummy muscle nice and tucked in. We're going to place our hands on the front of our thighs and create a bit of tension by pressing our hands into our legs. Keeping tension between your left hand and your left leg, we're going to kick the right leg out long. Big exhale to bring it back in. Just staying all on that one leg for now. Again, inhale as you extend your leg, exhale as you bring it back in, making sure that you're really keeping those shoulders down away from your ears, tummy muscle tucked in and spine as flat to the floor as possible. And as we kick, we're going to create tension down that thigh. Remember, if you need to, you can pop that left leg down on the floor. Otherwise, if you are feeling good, keep that left leg up for a challenge. But if you are getting hip popping or any lower back pain, please just take it a step back. It's well worth it to make it a little bit easier if you are struggling and get a little bit more out of the exercise. All right, let's go for a hold. So again, we're going to create tension down the right thigh. Make sure our spine is pressing as flat to the ground as possible, really engaging our core by just tucking that tummy muscle in and relaxing through the shoulders. Make sure they are down away from your ears. Big exhale, let's bring that leg back in and get ready for our other side. So we're going to create tension now between our right hand and our right leg. We're going to inhale as we extend through the left and then exhale as we bring that leg back in. Remember, spine nice and flat to the floor. I shouldn't be able to fit my fingers between your lower back and the floor. And let's hold. We're going to keep that spine as flat to the floor as possible, keeping tummy muscle tucking in to help us engage that core. Tension down your left thigh, no floppy knees. I want it nice and straight. Keeping shoulders relaxed. Again, if you need to, you can place that right foot down on the floor, but if you're feeling good, keep that leg up, keep tension between your right hand and your right leg. Big exhale, let's bring leg back in and return back down to the center.
We got 2 circuits to follow. First is going to be mainly focused on your upper body, so all your back muscles that we need for our inverts. And the second circuit is going to be mainly focused on the core. So to begin with the first circuit, you're going to be needing your long resistance band. Now for this first exercise, to make it harder, you can grab or kind of like double loop over your resistance band. Otherwise, to make it easier, we can go the single band. We're going to bring the band all the way up above head. From there, you're going to pull out nice and wide against the band. So constantly pulling those hands outwards. From there, we're going to pull the elbows into the side of your body and then release all the way back up above head. Now, it is important that we keep that resistance pulling outwards the entire time. It's what makes this one tough. And now, I'm only pulling the band down to just below my chin. This is because I don't want this to happen with my shoulders. I want to try and keep my elbows pulling forward, almost under my wrists. Again, maintaining tension outwards the entire time as I pull elbows forward, under my wrists, and back up again. Now, it's also important that we don't just arch through the back. So keep pulling out, flatten the spine, tucking that tummy in as we pull in with the elbows and release back out above head. Now this one we should be feeling in all our back muscles, probably quite a lot down your lats. Again, pull out wide, elbows in. Nearly there. We're just going to do just a little bit longer. Last 5 seconds. Again, maintaining tension out with those hands the entire time. All right, let's move on. So for this next one, we're also going to be focusing a lot through the back muscles. Again, to make it harder, you can double up with your resistance band or you can go single. Depending how hard your long resistance band as well is, you can either move your hands in closer is obviously going to make it tougher. Out wider is obviously going to make it easier. Now, keeping those shoulders down away from your ears, we're going to open out to the side and then let those hands pull back in. Now, through this exercise, it's important that we keep those shoulders down away from your ears and that we're maintaining a nice neutral spine so that I'm not arching through my lower back. Core is activated, keeping that tummy muscle nice and tucked in and keeping shoulders down that entire time. Big exhale as you open those hands out and then pull back into the center. Nearly there. Now we should be feeling this one through all those back muscles and almost getting a mini squeeze through the backs of those shoulders. So if I quickly turn around, as I open out and pull back in. Now I'm keeping it quite slow. So you'll notice I'm almost holding out there for like a full second before I let them pull back in. Control is better than rushing through this one. All right, let's move on to our third exercise of this circuit. So your third exercise is just a basic plank. So we're going to come down, make sure that your elbows are aligned directly under your shoulders and lift up to our toes. Now, if you need to, you can do this one from your knees, but if you can, do your best to stay up on your toes. Make sure that you're not just arched through your lower back. We're going to try and keep that tummy muscle tucking under so we have a nice flat spine. Every time you exhale, we should be tucking that tummy in. It should burn just that little bit more. Now, don't just sit here. We want to tense things. So no floppy knees. Lock those knees nice and straight. Squeeze them so tight, it feels like you've just gone for a run. Then just keep an eye on your shoulders. Don't sink through your shoulders. We're going to puff up through the upper back. Then I want you to watch your neck. No head bopping. We're going to tuck that head back. Embrace the triple chin position. Nearly there. Keep holding. Just picturing all those effortless inverts in the distance. And we're going to go for about 10 more seconds. Last 6. Well done. We're going to repeat these 3 one more time. So grabbing a hold of your long resistance band. We're going to start with our little lat pull downs first. So again, double band makes this harder. Single band makes this easier. So we're going to reach those arms all the way up above head. Create some resistance out into the band as we pull down. Maintaining a flat spine, so no arching through your back. Core muscles tucked in. Pull out wide. Pull those elbows down and release back out above head. Keep tension out. Keep that core activated. And again, we should be feeling this down those back muscles. And remember, it's the resistance outwards that makes this one difficult. Now think about your neck as well. We want to try and make sure that our neck isn't forward. 1, we're going to hit our head, and 2, it's not a nice position on your neck. Embrace your triple chin. Tuck your head backwards in line with your spine. And making sure those shoulders are pulling all the way down away from your ears. We've got about 10 seconds left. All right, let's move on to this second exercise. So for this one, keeping that spine nice and flat, tummy tucking in. We're gonna proceed to just exhale, pull the hands out wide, and then pull them back in from there. Exhale, open out, keeping those shoulders down, and then let them pull back in from there. Keeping that core activated, head tucked back into our triple chin position, and using that breathing to help. And just making sure those shoulders are staying down. Don't let them raise up towards your ears. Hopefully you can feel those back muscles burning. I know I can. All right, we're nearly there. About 15 more seconds. Last 5. Smashed it. Let's move on to the last exercise of this circuit. So we're going to come back up into our plank for 1 minute, making sure those elbows stay aligned directly underneath your shoulders, and up we go. Keeping shoulders forward on top of those elbows. Remember, we can't think too sexy. We don't want that lower back to arch. We're going to tuck our tummy in and keep that spine nice and flat. Now again, we're going to squeeze those thigh muscles, squeeze our legs straight. Squeeze them so hard it feels like we've just gone for a big run. And we're going to embrace our triple chin. So we're going to tuck the head back, puff up through that upper back, working these shoulders hard, drawing that tummy muscle in towards your spine. We're nearly there. We are past the halfway mark. And every time you exhale, it should burn just a little bit more through those abs. So tucking that tummy in nice and tight. About 15 seconds to go. Just keep picturing all those effortless inverts and shoulder mounts. Last 5. Well done. Let's move on to circuit number 2. For circuit number 2, you're going to need your long resistance band for our first exercise. So for your first exercise, we're going to stay seated on our back with just a soft bend through our knees. Make sure that your butt isn't tucked under. I want you to pick it up, stick it out behind. So you're really sitting on your seat bones. From there, we're going to place our long band around our feet. Now, if you double it up like me, obviously it's going to be harder. Single-sided is obviously going to be a little bit easier. So placing the band around your feet at whichever resistance you like, we're going to sit up nice and tall. Make sure your shoulders are down away from your ears, not up towards your ears. From there, we're going to pull back and then release. Now, it's important that we keep those shoulders down away from our ears as we squeeze backwards. Pull the elbows in, hold for a second, and then release. Now, make sure you maintain that little squeeze for a full Mississippi before we release back out. Now, you'll notice that I'm squeezing my shoulder blades together first, so I'm initiating the movement with my back and then squeezing those elbows in. Now, if you want to make this a little bit harder as well, you can grab a little bit lower down your band. Squeeze your shoulder blades together, elbows in, and release back out from there. Just focusing all through those back muscles that we've been working on. Again, shoulders staying down, squeezing those shoulder blades together. Make sure you don't have this position on your shoulders, not rolled forward. We're up tall. So again, it's a squeeze, tall shoulders for our last 5 seconds. Squeeze in and release. All right, now we're gonna move on to some more core. So you're gonna lay down on your back. You're gonna
bring your feet up to 90 degrees. Keep your palms facing up towards the roof as we proceed to exhale and lift our butt up and gently lower back down. Now, goal here is to not use momentum, so don't flick those legs straight. Try and keep your bend at your knees and use your strength. Keep it nice and slow and nice and controlled. Again, trying to prevent using that momentum. So we should be feeling this one through those abs. Also just making sure that we're keeping those shoulders down away from those ears. We're about halfway through the timer now, nearly there.
All right, let's move on to the next exercise. So for the next one, you're gonna bring your feet up to 90 degrees. We're gonna proceed to kick our legs out, keep the spine flat, pull them back in, and we're gonna add a crunch in between. Now your second easier option from straight legs is to tap your toes with the crunch, and then the easier option from there is single-sided. Just make sure you pick the variation that gets your core activated. That does not give you any lower back pain. Lower back pain is never allowed. All right, let's go 1 minute. Inhale as you kick, exhale as you bring it back in, and crunch. Again, whichever leg variation gets your abs working. And we're just gonna, again, just picture all those goals in the distance. How amazing those inverts are gonna feel after this. But remember, keep it slow. No need to rush these ones. These ones work better when we keep it slow. All right, we're nearly there. We're just over halfway. Keeping that tummy nice and tucked in. Hopefully you can feel the ab burn coming on as well. All right, 10 more seconds. Remember, as we crunch as well, we got to embrace our triple chin. No curling with the neck, curl from the torso, ribs and hips pulling in towards each other. Keep looking straight ahead. Last one. All right, let's return back through these three one more time. So coming back up to your seat position, keeping butt stuck out behind, we're going to place the band around your feet. Sitting up tall, we're going to squeeze the shoulder blades backwards, yank the elbows in, and then release. Squeeze and release. And remember, we don't want the shoulders to be rolled forward. We got to think up nice and tall. And now again, you'll notice that I squeeze first to initiate the pull with my back, and then squeeze the elbows in, hold it for a second, and then release back out. You'll also notice that I'm not just like arching through my back, focusing on my scapula. So my shoulder blades squeezing back, elbows pulling in. If you want to make it harder, reach a little bit further down the band. Core activated as well, so tummy tucking in. Now remember, our inverts aren't just all about the core. We need nice strong shoulders and upper back muscles. All right, we got like 5 seconds left of this one. Nearly there, keep it slow. If you add a few more seconds onto this pause, it'll make it just that little bit harder. All right, exercise number 2, our reverse crunches. Laying down on your back, feet are at 90 degrees, palms up, shoulders pulling down away from ears. Let's go. Exhale, lift, lower down. Focusing through those lower abs. Your first goal is to be able to get those hips up. Your second is to be able to control it. So remember, don't slam down. Control it up with little momentum and control it down. Again, these are a great one for inverts. Really mimics that first part of our invert. All right, let's keep it going. We got like 20 seconds. Got them all. Last exercise. So we're going to bring our feet up to the 90-degree spot. Shoulders relaxed down away from those ears. Again, we've got 3 options with the legs. We can kick out straight with a crunch. We can toe tap with a crunch. Or the easier option is to go single crunch. All right, let's go. So inhale to kick, exhale to come back in and crunch. Remember, our spine has to stay flat. So if it's not staying flat, then drop it down. It's better to drop it down and to actually activate the muscles you want to activate. The harder option. Harder option doesn't mean that you're gonna get more toned abs. If it's too hard for your current level, you're not gonna do anything for it. Remember, our muscles actually have to activate if they're gonna change. So if you need to, take it down a notch, it's okay. Now remember, it should be triple chin as well. You wanna tuck your head back in line with your spine. Don't curl from the neck, curl from the torso. I want to see these nice, strong pole dancer abs. All right, we made it through all those 3. Well done. For the last little section of today's workout, we're going to focus purely on the core. You're going to begin on your back. Now this first exercise is quite a challenge. So we're going to start with those feet up to 90 degrees, keeping that tummy nice and tucked in. From there, we're going to kick out. Proceed to follow. Make sure your spine stays flat and bring it back in. To start with the other leg, we're going to kick. Now maintain tension down your legs and then pull it back in. And we're going to keep alternating sides. Now keep it slow. You'll notice that I'm holding for a couple seconds before I bring those legs back in. Now the lower you manage to get these legs, the harder it's going to be. Just remember, no arching. Press your spine flat. Keep it slow and controlled. Pause and then bring it back in. Keeping those shoulders pulling down away from those ears. And leg tension, so squeeze those quads as you kick. Don't want to see no floppy knees. Nice straight legs. You're nearly there. About 5 more seconds. All right, let's pause with those feet in at 90 degrees. Place your hands just above your hips and we're gonna lift it up into a crunch position. Pull those legs in nice and close, like you're trying to give yourself a little cuddle. And then we're gonna straighten the arms and legs out straight. You're gonna take a big circle around with those arms and then we're gonna pull all the way back into our cuddle. Legs and arms out straight. Swim the arms around and then pull all the way back in from there. Now this one's quite difficult, so do your best. Focusing all through those lower abs. Keep it slow. Definitely an advanced one, this one. Ooh, my abs are on fire. Strong knees as well, no floppy legs. We got like 5 seconds. We can fit one more in. And then we can return it back down to the center. The last little bit of this sequence, we're just gonna bring those legs up nice and straight. Now remember, squeeze your knees as tight as you can. And we're gonna draw some circles. So you'll notice my back is flat to the floor still. It's not arched. I'm inhaling to leave, exhale to bring those legs back in. Squeeze those knees straight. And keep that pelvis nice and steady. If you need, you can on single-sided. But if you can, joining me with double legs. Exhale as those legs come back in towards you. Now, if you're doing double legs, we're gonna change direction. Otherwise, if you're going single-sided, we're gonna change legs. Inhale, leave, exhale to bring it back in. Really activating hard through that core, squeezing these knees tight. Inhale to leave, exhale to bring it back in. Keeping those shoulders pulling all the way down, away from those ears. Squeeze those knees tighter, so work those quads hard. Last circle for me. And then we'll just return those legs back down. All right, we're gonna do each of these three one more time, and then we're all done. All right, so remember, spine flat, shoulders pulling from those ears. We're not gonna rest for too long. We're gonna see how we go going straight into it. So bring those legs up to 90 degrees. Make sure they're directly on top of your hip. Back is flat to the floor. We're gonna kick, and then bring it back in from there. Kick, and bring it back in. Now remember, spine has to stay flat to the floor. So if you're really struggling as well, you can try just do this a little bit higher up. But our goal is really to aim for about a 45-degree angle. So try challenge yourself if you can. I know this one's quite an advanced one. Hopefully it really gets those abs burning for you. Remember to alternate which leg starts. Pause it for a second before bringing those legs back into the center. We're nearly there. All right, let's move on to our next exercise. So bringing the feet into 90 degrees. This one's probably the toughest. Okay. We're gonna bring hands just above those hips, shoulders pull down away from your ears. Triple chin. As we exhale, lift. We're gonna pull into a little cuddle position. We're gonna straighten legs and arms out, nice and straight. Big swim around with the arms, and then we cuddle back in. Now you wanna try and keep up in that crunched position. Don't let that upper back drop to the floor. If you need to and you are really struggling, you can keep that head down, but if you can, I want you to try and take on the challenge. Keep it slow. No need to rush here from A to B. Use this moment here to make sure that you're up nice and high in that crunch. Keep it slow. I know it's hard to hold those legs out, but hold. Legs out straight as we circle the arms. Don't rush this bit. Again, we straighten. We hold those legs straight as those arms circle all the way around. We're nearly there. What have we got? Like less than 10 seconds. So you're doing well. Whole minute of this one is hard. Well done. That one is over. So our last exercise today is this little corkscrew one. So up super straight. You're gonna squeeze these thighs, lock these knees up, press the spine flat. You're gonna inhale as you leave, exhale as you come back in through that circle. So remember, our goal is double legs, but if you need to, if you're getting back pain, pop one leg down on the floor, maintain that straight leg, and inhale as you leave, exhale, bring it back in. Palms up to the roof, shoulders relaxed. Make sure we're not tensing through the neck. Shoulders down away from those ears. Inhale to leave, exhale to bring it back in. You're nearly there. All right, let's change direction. So if you're doing double leg, change direction. If you're going single leg, just change leg. Inhale to leave, exhale to pull back in. Palms up to the roof. And just little circles. Squeezing those knees straight. All right, let's bend those knees and bring them back down to the floor from there. I hope you enjoyed today's workout so far. I am going to give you one more bonus exercise for today that I do really enjoy when it comes to invert conditioning as well. To be honest, the list of exercises is endless. Now this particular exercise I call hip flexor hell. We're only going to try one round, but it's definitely one I recommend including in your pre-invert training warm-ups. So I'm not going to open out to my fullest potential pancake. I'm only just going to open out a little bit of the weight. Now for this one, I'm going to stay slightly hinged forward. Reason being is doing this just puts the tension more through my hip flexor where I want it, rather than all through the core. And we're going to squeeze these thighs nice and straight. Hands to the side. You're going to take a big exhale, lift, lower down. Now your goal is 10 each side. So lift, as high as you can. Try not to lean backwards. No floppy knees, lock it straight. Keep leaning forwards. Nice and strong through those legs. Once you've done your 10, swapping sides, slightly hinged forward. Lift. Strong knees. All right, our last challenge for this one is hands directly to the center. So again, booty stuck out as well. I didn't really mention this before. Make sure you're not tucked under. Really try and stick the booty out and lean forwards from there. And again, going for 10, double leg. This one's the real challenge. So you're gonna squeeze, lift, lower down. Now the first time you do this, it might be more of a flop. That's all right, stick with it, it'll get easier. Squeeze and lower down. Ooh, those hip flexors. About 4 more for me. Well done. Thank you for joining me for today's off the pole invert conditioning workout. Please, if you enjoyed it, like the video and give me a thumbs up. Leave me a comment below, or if you have any future requests for videos as well, leave them down in the comments below, or send me a direct message. And follow my channel, subscribe to my channel. It really does allow me to keep bringing you more free content like this if you do. Otherwise, I look forward to seeing you all in my next video.